Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's football show here on STV. The main talking points on tonight's programme. The SFA welcome FIFA's World Cup expansion plans. Walter Smith says Rangers must go into debt if they want to stop Celtic winning 10 in a row. And Ronaldo is FIFA's best player of the year. Just a few of the topics we'll be discussing. Gordon Smith is alongside me, Peter Martin. Our boot-room guest, I'm delighted to say, is Albion Rovers manager Darren Young. Darren, welcome to the programme. We've got lots to talk about, including, of course, Albion Rovers. Not only a big game this weekend against Libby, but, of course, Celtic on the horizon as well. Let's get both your thoughts. Gordon, first of all, the SFA. Stuart Regan believes it's a positive step for smaller nations. FIFA looking to expand the World Cup to 60 teams.
Yeah, I can understand it. I actually agree with it. I've looked at the whole scenario. There are negatives and there are positives about it. The negatives are the fact that it's just 2 games guaranteed for every team, and it's going to be tough for supporters to go out there and spend their money, travel. How long do you book your flights for, the hotels, all that sort of thing? Those are the negatives. The positives are there's more teams going to be in the championships. Scotland will have a better chance of being there. There'll be more money getting distributed to the teams, and it'll probably make the World Cup more exciting around the world, because that does where the money comes in from. The fact you get 48 teams, and they've actually developed it quite well in the respect that rather than have the 3-team group, I know it's going to be a bit tougher, only 2 matches at group stage and then it's right into a knockout, but it does mean that whoever gets to the final and plays in the final, it's 7 games as it is at the moment with 32 teams. So the World Cup will not be extended in terms of length, time-wise, and from that point of view, I see nothing wrong with extending it to 48 teams.
It's an interesting one. I know a lot of countries, and certainly a lot of European states, are not too happy with it overall, Darren. But, you know, I mean, from your point of view, I mentioned the fact 48 teams, there will be a knockout stage after you get the 16 groups of 3, as Gordon has alluded to. You know, when you look at what's happening with the Champions League and how some of the stronger clubs want to minimise that tournament, should we be embracing the more inclusive attitude of Gianni Infantino?
Yeah, I think so. As Gordon touched on, it's a great opportunity for Scotland. It's been a while since we've been there, a major tournament, France '98. So if we get the opportunity and there's more teams possibly going to be there, although I think we were talking about it earlier on, and there's still a sort of playoff phase once you kind of get through your groups. So you could still be in that situation. You've got the playoff to actually get there. I don't know how many extra places it means for the sort of European nations, whether it's spread out around the world or if it all goes to a certain sort of category. But no, all positive. Maybe more money coming in as well if we can get there, and for all football fans all over the world, they can get themselves to these big tournaments. And it's the only sort of maybe down point is or bad point is that there's only 2 games to play. Possibly one mistake and you're out, or one goal and you're in.
Yeah, I think the thing is, Dan, I was going to say that if we increase it to 48 teams, if the percentage stays the same for Europe as it is at the moment, it might increase, because European football is the top place in the world at the moment, without doubt. This is where all the money is, the top players are. But if the places stay roughly the same percentage, we've got 14 teams in this World Cup coming up in 2018, and if it goes to the same percentage, we'll have 20 teams, which means another 6 places for European teams to be in the World Cup finals.
Yeah, Gordon, it sounds so positive, but only Scotland could fail with 48 teams at the World Cup. Although I love the fact that you say that Europe's where the money is. I'm sure the Chinese are going to have something to say about that over the next 20 years as well.
Them, you're right.
Yeah, absolutely. Staying with the international theme, Gordon Strachan has obviously been talking about the current state of Scotland: 4 points, 4 games. And he mentioned he doesn't really have a problem with the Tartan Army calling for his head. He totally gets that. They need to get a friendly in before Slovenia, need to get a positive result against Slovenia, need to get a positive result against England, I think, as well, Gordon.
Yeah, well, I think definitely the Slovenia one would be more important, because that is one of our rivals for second spot, I believe. I think England are going to win the group. I think it's probably important to get a friendly in, because, you know, their players, some of the players are emerging and doing really well. Like, say, you get Ritchie, who's playing really well down south. You've now got Armstrong at Celtic, who's coming through. Scott Brown's back in the team, obviously, and playing again. And I think it'll be a game by game for him. But I think that the Slovenia game is crucial Because if we don't win that game, I think our chances have diminished greatly, and that might be the time for Gordon Strachan to walk away. But I think we can beat Slovenia, and that's why I probably want to get a game in before that, just to make sure it gets the right team together, the right balance and all that. So because he'll definitely be bringing in players who haven't really been featuring so far.
Yeah, sometimes it's all about timing as well. I mean, if we get the lift, I'm not suggesting for a minute we're capable of beating England at Hampden. Stranger things have happened, but you know, Stuart Armstrong emerges, maybe someone else can force themselves into the reckoning, Dan.
Yeah, of course. There's still a chance. There's still a chance there. There's enough points to pick up in the group stages. Guys like Armstrong, Snodgrass is banging in the goals now, doing well for Hull as well. So there's plenty of optimism and plenty of opportunity for us to pick up the points and getting the guys together, another friendly, sort of building into what we're looking for. I mean, I think going back to that first England game as well, there's a lot of positives to take from the game. We lost poor goals defensively, but a lot of positives, and anything on the day or on the night could get you through there.
Yeah. From international football to a former international manager in Walter Smith, he's been discussing Rangers' situation with the Daily Record's Keith Jackson, and he's mentioned that he feels as if Rangers have to go into debt to spend money to stop Celtic winning 10 in a row. Gordon, I'm not so sure I agree with Walter on this. To be fair to him, he's been consistently, stating that Rangers have to spend money. But
he might be right in one respect, saying that they'll have to spend money and go into debt to stop Celtic in 10 in a row, as opposed to saying they should do that. Because it might be the sensible thing would be to say, Rangers should actually keep to their budgets and make sure that the club don't go into financial difficulties they've had before, despite the fact that Celtic are much stronger and could go on and win those championships. I know that Rangers want to stop them doing it, but don't put the club in serious danger by doing that.
I think it's rather ominously, today of all days, when Brendan Rodgers has mentioned, as well as making a significant signing, he is mentioning that there's more to come from Celtic as well. I mean, this is the real conundrum, Darren, for the likes of Rangers. You can spend the money, but Celtic have got so much money that's been coming in Champions League as well, that it could be a race that they don't want to get involved in.
Yeah. And I don't think it would be in their best interest. You see the way they've gone the last couple of years, and they're sort of back to the top now, and to sort of go down that road of spending all this money to possibly put yourself in a position that you can get back to, having been at teams that's happened to as well, then I would say that's the wrong way to go. There is obviously people who have come out and said at the start that there would be money there for Rangers to spend, and it's a case of finding that money, but at the same time not harming the long term of the club.
Yeah, I think, Gordon, that the bigger pressure starts to crank up when they don't get the positive results from the Old Firm games. Yeah,
I think so. I think that the fans, Rangers, the same huge big crowds, big club competing, and they want to see a challenge to Celtic. It's a matter of improving the team. The difficulty they have is that Celtic, as Dan's saying, have got a lot more money, and now that money's coming in from two ways. The extra money that's coming in is from the obviously the sale of players, which can bring a lot of money, and the latest one is obviously Dembele, is worth a lot of money. They could sell him on, and Champions League involvement at group stages. That could bring in a lot of money that Celtic then can go and pick and choose a good quality of player, whereas Rangers have to try and bring in people who are going to maybe get more value in them, but they're not the same money to bring in for likes of wages and the money they can go and spend at this moment. So those are the difficulties that Rangers have in order to compete. But we've seen it happen before. Some teams without that money to spend, and a great example last season, Leicester City didn't have the money anywhere near the money Manchester City and West Ham, Chelsea, Man United had, but won the league. Yeah. So it can be achieved, but it's a difficult task.
Yeah, I must admit, I've heard the comparisons. I don't see a comparison. I think the gulf is too big at the moment. I think financially it's too big, and I think the pressure, Darren, that some of the players coming in. I mean, look at Emerson Hyndman. Here's a guy who's in for 6 months. He's got to hit the ground running. I mean, Mark Robertson cannot afford it, just as your budget at Albion Rovers. You can't afford to have somebody who may well have, one half decent game and maybe a couple of bad games. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing when you're signing players. You need to kind of do your due diligence, and if they don't, especially at the higher levels, if they don't come in, then the fans will get on their back kind of straight away. You can give them sort of so much time, but then if they're still not producing the goods and guys aren't getting the results, and then it's...
You never know, Dan, do you? Even yourself, any player you sign is a risk, isn't it? You're never sure.
Definitely. I mean, you can go and watch guys, go and scout guys, or guys give you clips or recommendations, but at the end of the day, it falls in your head. If the guy goes out and he doesn't produce the goods, you sort of give him that chance. You can get away with it if the team's getting results. It'll maybe buy him a bit of time, but if they're not getting the results and he's not performing, then everything's lose-lose.
Yeah, absolutely. You set that up brilliantly for after the break, because we're going to talk to the Albion Rovers manager about Livingston coming up, and of course Celtic on the horizon as well in the Scottish Cup. Do join us after the break. We will also look at Ronaldo as FIFA's best player and of course the World Team of the Year. Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. Gordon Smith is with me all this week. Our bookroom guest, I'm delighted to say tonight, is Darren Young, the Albion Rovers manager. He set it up beautifully prior to the break. What's required of a manager? The pressures that you face, and it doesn't get any bigger than the next couple of games for you, because you're playing the top of the table, runaway leaders in Livingston, and then Celtic on the horizon. First of all, give us your viewpoint on where you see your season going, aspirations.
Aspirations, I think we've got a game in hand now, so we win our game in hand, we go, I think it's 2 or 3 points off second place, so the chance there to possibly push for a playoff position at the right end of the table, and then obviously after there we've got the wee small matter of the Celtic game to deal with as well, but that'll take care of itself and we'll look forward to that game. But league wise, I think we're just trying to improve and progress from where we did last season.
I mean, I'm looking at the forum. I mean, 3 wins out of the last 5. You guys are playing well. You've had Brecon, you've managed to see them off twice.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it was a good start to the new year. The first 2 games, the Derby one against Airdrie away. I think we hadn't beaten them for 70 years away from home in the league. Somebody told us at the start of the season. We've now done it twice in the one season, so pretty good in that side of things. The fans are happy anyway, keeps them on your side, and we've managed to beat Brecon again, so it's 2 wins out of 2 for sort of 2017 and hopefully continue that.
Yeah, I've watched you in the Cup. I like the way that you guys play football, which is a fair reflection of you, and of course definitely a fair reflection of Billy Stark as well, the two of you. It's a perfect match. Is it difficult to keep playing that style of football in that division?
As long as you keep on winning,
yeah.
it's the right way. I mean, we've chopped and changed formations, but we've kind of stuck to what's worked well for us. And again, we kind of went back to that. We've got a few victories from it, and it's kind of we've been that way the last sort of 2.5 years, and the boys have bought into it. And I mean, we've had a great 2.5 years. I've had a great 2.5 years from winning the league in the first season, and last season we got the high sort of league finish in points total in the club's history, and then this season we beat Airdrie, kind of breaking records every year. So it's been brilliant, and it's sort of been topped off now with the Celtic game coming up.
You think Livingston are looking like the strongest team then, although they've just now gone ahead quite a few points?
Yeah, I mean they've started to pick up and starting to sort of pull away, and yeah, I mean they've got some good players in their squad. They've got guys like Liam Buchanan, striker, who's sort of scoring week in week out for them now. So you've got guys like that in your squad, it kind of makes a difference. He's a sort of proven scorer at this level. So, but no, I think probably they've strengthened. They've signed the boy Gallagher, they've signed the boy Miller as well. I think for Falkirk it was. So they've strengthened their squad, and something we'd hope to do maybe with some of the Celtic money coming in, but sometimes your budgets are limited.
Yeah, just picking up on that point, I mean, for a club like Albion Rovers, you know, I was looking today at, it's almost a sellout now, no surprise here. Yep. Celtic have taken up their full allocation. The Albion Rovers fans, I think the next couple of days, that all the tickets will be gone. That could be financially for the club for the next couple of seasons. Is that too much to suggest?
Yeah, no, that will keep us ticking over, as long as the clubs will manage it right in the background, and what needs to get paid and what can get kept, and if there is anything left over, can we use it in the squad? So I'm sure they'll be sort of doing their figures and working everything out now. But no, it'd be great to have a sellout, and again for the guys that maybe never played against a sort of Celtic or that, then it's a great opportunity to go and showcase their talents, to sort of stand up and be noticed, and maybe put themselves in the shop window to move to sort of bigger and better things. Yeah,
the downside is I can't see Celtic in any capacity, Gordon, playing an inferior side, because this treble seems to be the driving force for them.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking myself. The fact was that under normal circumstances maybe he would have said, well look, we'll not play a full side, we'll give other players a game sort of thing. But you're absolutely right, it's now become aspect of it, Celtic have obviously tied up 2 trophies already, basically, and they are going for a treble because he would only be the 3rd Celtic manager to do it. So you're liable to be up against a strong Celtic team.
Yeah, I mean, I think we will be. I mean, as you said, I can't see them even when they've sort of been playing during the season. They've not had that many sort of chopped and changed, maybe 1 or 2 players here and there. But the guys are bringing in our internationals, so it's not as if we don't have that
luxury.
Luxury, that's the one. But
Yeah.
we'll go out and enjoy it. We'll have a game plan and we'll try and stick to it and see how we go on.
Yeah, I don't want to put you on a complete downer, but of course, off the back of that, Gordon, they're actually chasing this record that the Lisbon Lions hold. I think it's 26 games domestically unbeaten.
Yeah.
Which again, these are the type of things that incentivise players.
Absolutely, and that'll be their first game back though after the break. You'll be hoping they're out in Dubai having a really good time.
Enjoying themselves.
Can't see that happening, Gordon. I know we're clutching at straws, but nevertheless. Listen, let's switch, and we wish you the very best of luck in the game, and of course for the rest of the season as well. Not that I think you need it. From Albion Rovers, let's switch to someone that I think you would love to have played alongside and have him in the Albion Rovers side as well as Cristiano Ronaldo. He wins the FIFA Best Player. A number of people voted for him. I think you get a coach, you get a journalist, and the players, all selected players from each country, pick their chosen one. And I like his attitude as well. As you can see, he was quick to point out that you don't win this type of award without being part of a winning team.
No, you don't. The important thing is you're a strong individual and you play as an individual in order to put in your best performance. But you do require the players around about you, and he's fortunate in that respect. But they're very fortunate to have him as well, because in that team he's absolutely amazing, outstanding. As I say, I still think Messi's a better footballer than him, but I can't take away from the season Ronaldo's had. He's been absolutely brilliant and thoroughly deserves it on his football this year in terms of what he's achieved. European Champions League and European Nations Cup as well, League Championship. And the very fact is, I think it's stunning statistics when you look at his games and goals. To actually have scored more goals than you played games for any player, it puts you right up there on a pedestal.
Yeah, absolutely. I think an example to many a footballer about application as well as the God-given talent as well, but he works at his craft.
Yeah, I mean, he works sort of day in, day out, and you can see that. There's wee things you can see in Facebook and Twitter and all these sort of things that it's just little things he does that you don't see in the background, and how hard he works to get to where he is. There was a wee programme I was watching the other night. It was going to be about where he'd left. I think he'd left he's at the island he stayed in. It was Madeira or something like that.
Madeira he's from,
He left that to go away over to
Sporting.
I think it was 11 or something like that. He had to leave his parents, and then I think they came over later, and it's just the commitment now, even at that sort of age, to go and improve and to better himself. And as you're quite rightly saying, I mean, all the guys in the team at Real Madrid and Portugal, they're all world-class players, and they're doing their bit to create the chances for him, and he's the man that's there to finish it off.
Yeah, absolutely. And the good thing is I was listening there, Gordon's finishing most of your sentences, which tells me that he was watching the exact same programme. You two need to get out more. But over and above that, there were a few other people who were more than happy. I'm delighted for Claudio Ranieri. I don't think anybody else had a chance of winning it. I mean, for Leicester to win the Premier League, you've got to give him Coach of the Year.
Incredible, yeah. I mean, he had to get it, especially, you get into an environment there where you've got rich clubs. I mean, there's a lot of money in England to start with, but the fact is that some of the clubs are richer than others. You've got top clubs, mentioned some before, Man City, Man United, Chelsea, Tottenham, even Liverpool. But for what he achieved is a one-off, and it was incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got to give a mention to the women's best player, which was Carly Lloyd. Not bad haul of medals as well. A couple of Olympic golds and the World Cup as well. And she scored a hat-trick in the final. I don't think there was anybody else that was going to get it but her. She plays for Houston Dash in America. And Sylvia Need, who was one of the most successful players in Germany and a coach as well. So well done to the respective winners there. Here's the team of the year. I want you to take a look at it, lads. Darren, is there anybody that's a glaring omission for you?
I don't know about omission. I don't know about Iniesta. I mean, I think he was out injured for kind of half the season, so I'd have probably chopped and changed. I know there was talk earlier of Neymar maybe in there somewhere, but I mean, I think you can't really argue with that front three. The only one I'd probably change would be Iniesta.
Yeah.
The only one I would probably change would be Ramos.
Yeah.
I'm not
You're
a big
not a fan. What's wrong with picking players who pick up yellow cards?
Yeah, yellow and reds. But I mean, he does a good job for them without doubt. But I think he's fortunate to play in that team. I don't think he's. I think he's very, very good, but I don't think he's world best.
Yeah, I'm probably. I mean, I'd be hard pushed to push Iniesta out of the side, to be perfectly honest with you, lads. But if I was going to do it, I'd probably play a 4-2-4. You know, because I like to attack, Darren, leave myself woefully exposed at the back. But I think if you put Neymar in there, I mean, who's going to get the ball off that team?
Oh, I know.
It's absolutely magnificent. Okay, you can have your thoughts at Peter and Ruffy on Facebook and Twitter. Give us your thoughts on the world's best player. Should Messi have had a shout there, or Antoine Griezmann? And what about that team of the year? Do you agree with that as well? Okay, from there, just got to give a mention to a couple of things before we finish, which is, of course, Gordon, I want to get your thoughts on this. FA Chairman Greg Clark has mentioned down south that he feels as if he's hoping that a group of players will come out and mention about being gay footballers. If a group comes out, it might work out in their favour. Just briefly on that.
Yeah, it'd be better if it's a group, because individually they're liable to take a bit of stick if they come out as individuals. But as a group, I think it might be the best way to go forward. Yeah,
absolutely. Fingers crossed on that we can all move forward and football can move into the 21st century as well. Thanks to Darren, thanks to Gordon, thanks for watching.